Hello students, welcome to our today's session. So in our last session, we had introduced ourselves to what is capital budgeting, what is the process of capital budgeting, and what are the techniques of capital budgeting. So continuing that, we'll go in depth and see the different methods or techniques that are involved with capital budgeting, right? Advantages. So we'll coming to advantages of payback period. It is easy to compute, right? There are no complicated steps or anything very much difficult while computing payback period. It is very simple. It just gives you a time frame when you will be earning the total capital outflow of the project, right? Second is easy to understand as it provides a quick estimate of the time needed for the organization to recoup the cash invested. So it is very much easy to understand, right? It just gives you an estimate of the time when you can recoup the cash invested. You have invested some amount of money. When can you earn that cash back? Correct. Third is length of the project can serve as an estimate of project's risk factor. There is something called as risk factor for every project. The if the payback period is very much uh, earlier, for example, there are two options for you, right? First option is that the payback period of that particular project is say 1 year. The second option is that the payback period for that project is 2 years. So we'll definitely choose 1 year because within first year only you will be able to recoup the cash which you have already invested. In the first year only you will take back all the cash, and from then on whatever you earn will be your profits, right? So it is like the risk factor here is that you can earn the cash what you have invested, and it actually tells you the time in which you can earn that back, right? The shorter the payback period, it is better for the company, keeping in mind the risk factor. Now let's look at the disadvantages of payback period. First is that it ignores time value of money. Now that you guys know what is time value of money, I hope you guys are able to connect. Time value of money states that the value of money keeps on decreasing as the time passes, correct? Value of money today is not equal to the value of money tomorrow. That is the basic motto of time value of money. So if you look at this example, I've mentioned it as 3 lakhs every year. So every year you are earning 3 lakhs. Today you have invested 15 lakh rupees of capital outlay, and you are earning 3 lakhs after first year, after second year, after third year, after fourth year. This 3 lakh every year gets the value or the worth of this 3 lakhs every year gets reduced. That is the uh, main crux factor of time value of money. So it is completely ignored in payback period. So to overcome this, we have something called as discounted payback period, which we'll see in the later parts of this module. Second disadvantages is that it fails to consider the total profitability. It just tells you when can you recoup the cash invested. You have invested some amount of money. Payback period tells you when exactly are you earning the entire capital outflow. However, it will not give you the total profitability of the project. For example, if there are two projects, one project is giving you the returns early. I mean, you can recoup the cash invested in a shorter span of time, and the other project, it is spread over for a longer period of time. But overall, if you consider, the second project is giving you higher profitability, and it is giving you substantial benefits which is missing in the first proposal. So this thing is totally missed out in payback period. It just tells you when can you earn back your cash inflows. Third disadvantage is that this technique may cause organizations to place too much emphasis on shorter payback period, thereby ignoring the benefits in investing in long-term projects that can enhance competitive position. So yeah, let me explain this point a little briefly. It's like continuing my example of what I mentioned in my second point. So now that you are investing in two different proposals or projects, first one has a shorter span, and you can earn your profitability, and you can just close the project after you earn so much of profitability or the life or whatever it is, right? The first project has a life span of 5 years, and the second project will have a span of say 8 years. You try to invest in project one because the profitability or the uh, payback period is very less. You are able to recoup the capital outlay within 2 years. You did not choose project two because the payback period was lengthy. It said that you can earn after 4 years. But one major aspect to this point is that project 2 will be there in the market for 8 long years. It will be there for 8 long years, and people will be buying or interacting with the second project more. There was chances that people had a close uh, you know business activities with project 2 because it was there in the market for 8 years. That consistency was there in your company. Your company was offering a project for people or the customers for 8 long years. However, you chose project 1 just because its payback period was less. After 5 years, if you since you have chosen project 1, people might forget your company after 5 years. However, your competitors will be there in the market even after 5 years and will be doing pretty well because all these 5 years they would have earned some amount of trustworthiness in the market, and they'll continue for 8 long years. So you will be losing out on the competitive position. So these are the disadvantages of payback period. Coming to the second method, there's something called as accounting rate of return. What is accounting rate of return? Accounting rate of return, I have given you a formula: average average annual net income divided by investment. This investment can be average investment or initial investment. Please note that point. It can be average investment or initial investment depending on case to case. So I've given you an illustration. So there are 5 years. Each of the year I've given you the uh, accounting profits. I hope you guys understand what is meant by accounting profits. Accounting profits is the profit that you earn after tax and depreciation. This point I think we have seen in the managerial accounting subject. So I've given you profit after tax 50,000, 75, 1 lakh 25, 1 lakh 30 and 80,000. So the total profit earned in 5 years is 4 lakh 60,000. The average of this will be considered. So the average net annual income will be 92,000. 4 lakh 60,000 divided by 5. So your accounting rate of return will be 92,000 divided by 10 lakhs. That is initial investment, which is giving you 9.2%. I hope this particular method is very much decent, right? It is giving you the profitability. What is the total profitability if I invest in a project today? What is the percentage of profit which I'll be receiving? So the advantages are it uses data which is readily available and is routinely generated for financial reports and does not require any special procedures to generate data. Very simple. Every now and then, the accountant of the firm will be calculating the required data, which is very much routine with regard to managerial accounting. The accounts manager will be frequently generating all these reports in his financial reports. So you don't have to search for, or fish for the data. So it's like you don't actually need any specific data, or you don't have to fish for any data, or it doesn't require much efforts, right? Second advantage is that it considers all the net incomes over the life of the project and provides a measure of the investment's profitability. Unlike payback period, it considers the profitability of the entire life of the project. It considers the whole profitability. If the project is there for 10 years, it will consider the income or accounting profits which are earned for a period of 10 years, right? So let's see the disadvantages. Disadvantages are that this method also ignores time value of money. Here also there is no discounting as such. This technique uses accounting numbers that are dependent on and different accounting procedures. So as we have seen in our accounting modules, there are different methods of inventory valuation. There are different methods of evaluating or seeing the profitability, right? So each of the methods will give a result of different accounting rate, right? So it depends on the company to company which method of checking the profitability or scrutinizing the profitability they are using, which can have a significant impact because you will not be in a position to compare between two firms, or you will not be able to compare the profitability of two different projects. That will become a issue here. So this method uses net income rather than cash flows. uh, in our financial management, we consider cash flows to be a better measure, right? Because cash flows and net profits are two different things. Net profits are something which we earn after depreciation and all those things. This depreciation and other things are not a expenditure as of now, right? There are various views and various opinions to this statements. However, cash flows are considered to be a better measure when it comes to evaluating a performance of a particular investment. So that is one thing here. Accounting rate of return takes into consideration only the net income. So also the last thing is that there will be certain other commitments like working capital needed for a particular project, or there might be other outlays. You might have to recruit special employees for a particular project, and these things will be ignored in accounting rate of return. So this is about the methods or the traditional or non-discounting methods of capital budgeting. So rest of the things we'll see in our next session. Thank you.